Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Mr. Outlaw, and today I'm going to review the Kanger Subtank Mini and the OCC Nickel Coils for temperature-controlled devices. So let's get into it. So I know a lot of people are having trouble building nickel coils, or they don't want to build nickel coils. You know, they want to take advantage of the temperature controlled devices that are out there, but they don't want to be hassled with nickel wire. You know, the nickel wire is a little soft. It's hard to work with at first. It takes a lot of wraps to even get like a 0.14 ohm coil. So I decided to go ahead and pick up one of these Subtank Minis and the nickel coil OCC heads from the good people at the Boca Raton Vaporshark down here in Florida. And I have to tell you, I am very impressed with this device so far. First of all, it looks really good on my Hana mods. It's a 22mm device, a Pyrex glass tank. It has a removable drip tip, so you can either use the drip tip they give you, or you can get your own. It's got adjustable airflow going from either all the way off to wide open and two settings in between. It gives tremendous flavor, tremendous vapor, and the heads seem to last a long time. The head I have on here is about 2 weeks old. I've gone through about 10 tanks of e-liquid with it, and it's still puffing well. It's still giving me good flavor, good vapor. Take a look at this. The flavor is still there, the vapor is still there. And I have this, it's a 0.15 OCC head. It's 420 degrees, and I have it at 20 watts with the airflow wide open. And I'm loving this device. So let's take a look at this a little bit closer, and then we'll come back to more FaceTime. Okay, so when we get our Subtank Mini, it's going to come in this nice box. It's got this sleeve on it here. On the front it says Subtank Mini. And on the back it says Kanger Tag, copyright 2014, all that nonsense. You're going to slide this off here. We have a nice box. I love the presentation, but I have to tell you, I wish these companies would spend a little bit less money on presentation and just charge us less money. So on the back, it's got what's in it, what it contains. It's got a Subtank, a 0.5 ohm OCC coil, a 1.2 ohm OCC coil, an RBA, organic cotton, all that good stuff. We're going to open it up, and we'll put this off to the side. Here we have our Subtank Mini. And I have used this. I just reboxed it to show you how the unboxing looks. I can't afford to buy more than one. Inside we have some instructions here. It's nice they give you instructions. My eyes are too old to read it, but you do have them. Certificate of authenticity, you can go ahead and check that. Some spare O-rings, spare screws, and an extra coil for your RBA. Some Japanese organic cotton. You have an extra glass tube down here. You have one of your coil heads here, which I believe this is the 1.2 ohm one. That's the 1.2, and it says it right here, 1.2 ohms. And then you have your RBA, which does come pre-built with a coil. I have already used it, but we're going to take it apart, and I'm going to show you how to rebuild it with a nickel head. Now, before we even get into the other heads, just to give you an idea, the nickel coil heads have a blue ring on the bottom, and the standard coil heads have a white ring on the bottom. Now, put off this to the side. So as far as the device itself, like I said, it is a 304 grade stainless steel. It has a removable drip tip, Pyrex glass tank, nice colored O-rings, and you can get different colors online. I've seen blue, purple, yellow, so that's a nice little feature. Up here on the top it says Kanger Tech. Down on the bottom it says Kanger Tech Subtank Mini, designed and manufactured by Kanger. The center pin is not adjustable. The threads on the 510 connection are nice and smooth, no issues with it going on any one of my device. We do have a peak insulator on the RBA coil. Now down here on the bottom we have our airflow here, and it just kind of turns to get into place. So we're going to start off here. You have completely closed off. Turn it one time. You have one hole. If you want to have a little bit more temperature and a little bit more flavor to your vape, you can go to 2 holes, and that's going to kind of give you a combination between your flavor and your clouds, and then you can go wide open for those big giant clouds. Now when we take it apart here, you just kind of grab the top, you unscrew it right here, And it does come pre-installed with a head. The head that's on it when you get it is a 1.2 ohm coil. I currently have one of the Nickel OCC coils on here. Now the way you're going to do this is just going to kind of grab it and turn it. And the one thing I do like about this device is I like that the heads are square. It's kind of easier to grab when you want to take them off. I remember with my Aspire Atlantis, the problem was, you know, grabbing that little round head was a little bit more difficult. Now, when you look at your coil head, you're going to see here down the bottom, the way you're going to know you have a nickel head is by this blue O-ring. If you take a look at the Kanthal heads, they have a white O-ring, so you're going to know that you have the nickel head when you have that blue O-ring. Down on the bottom there, you're going to have your threading to go into the device itself. Those are your airflow slots, and then you have 2 holes, 3 millimeters in diameter on each side for our cotton and for our feeding our juice. They do use an organic Japanese cotton. Now, like I said, this is a little bit older head. You really can't see inside of it. It definitely is gunked up because I use sweeter juices, but it is still performing very, very well. Now, you can take this apart even further. You're going to grab onto this part here and pull to take your glass off. Now, when I first got mine, I had a hard time getting this glass off, and I'm going to show you a little trick. If you're having a hard time getting the glass off, you could either run it under some hot water, or you can take a piece of dental floss, kind of turn it a little bit, and then just kind of get it in that crack. And if you just keep wrapping it around like this, it'll automatically push your glass off. Once you get the glass off the first time, you won't have any issues after that. But that first time, sometimes it's kind of difficult to do it. And that's going to allow you to change all your O-rings or your glass tank or anything you need to do like that. It is good that it's a Snug Fit. And I also like the fact that you can change these O-rings out. They come red, but you do have different colors you can buy, so that's a nice option. Now, when you fill this device, you want to actually fill your e-liquid so it's just below that center air tube. You don't want to come up above that. And when you fill it up all the way, you're going to get about 4.2 milliliters of e-juice in there. Now, let's get into the nickel coil heads. Like I said, they do come in a pack of 5. They come from Kanger Tech. They are $18.50. You do have a certificate of authenticity on the back here. And there is a warning to, make sure that you are only using these heads on a temperature-controlled device. And when you take them out, and like I said, I've used one of them so far. It's lasted me about 2 weeks. They come in these packages, like a package of 5. Now, I do find $18.50 seems to be a little bit of money for the heads, so that's going to kind of be a preference. But if you don't want to have to rebuild your coils, these heads work very, very well, and I haven't had no issues with them at all. So as far as the RBA head, it looks like this. We have down on the bottom our airflow slots, our threading to go onto the device itself. We have a peak insulator. Up on the top here it says Kanger Tech RBA Mini. And then it comes apart in 3 pieces. You take off the top cap here. And then you take off your chimney. And you have your build deck, and you can see here on the side that's the slots for our juice to wick up into our coils. It does come pre-installed with the head, but we're going to take that off, and I'm going to show you a nickel coil on here. Okay, so when you're building on this, I do find it's much easier to attach the RBA to the base of the unit and then put it on an ohms meter or something. Because it's so small, it's easier to kind of work with. Now, we do have 2 screws right here, and it's very easy to trap our leads underneath there. You can just kind of slide them in there and then just trap them down with the screws. So I do have a nickel coil here that I have already built. Now I actually already had it on the device, so I've snapped the wire, so I'm going to attempt to put this back on. Now I found the best nickel build to use on this was a 7-wrap 30 gauge Ni 200 wire. So we'll just try to trap these right underneath here, and just all you have to do is kind of take your 2 leads, slide it underneath the screws, and then carefully, trying to do this on camera and hold it at the same time is not that easy. Just screw down the one side to trap it. Position your coil. I've got to put it down here. And then screw down the other. And you can see there, it fits well on the base. And again, that is a 7-wrap 30 gauge Ni200 wire. Comes out to be about 0.15 ohms. Now when it comes to wicking this, I've definitely found that less is more. You don't want to overstuff this thing with cotton, otherwise it's not going to juice correctly. And you want to have your cotton just sort of be able to slide in and out. So we're just going to take a piece of cotton, just to give you an idea. It's about the width of one of the Kanger heads. And I split it in half. We're going to just kind of roll the one end and just kind of thread it through. Once I have it in there, I just gently twist it to pull it through. I probably even have a little bit too much here. And once I get it out, I just kind of untwist it. Now we're just going to cut off the pieces on each side. And what I like to do, just to make this thing really wick well, is just kind of grab one side of your cotton and kind of fluff it. Try to separate those strands so that the juice can wick better, just like this. Just kind of make it a very fluffy piece. And then do the same thing on your other side. And again, just kind of hold one side so it doesn't pull through as you do it. You don't want to mess with your coils. Don't be rough with it. Just do nice and gentle. Once I've done that, then I'll kind of trim it a little bit more. And then I'm just going to kind of tuck it down on each side and see how I am. And I probably have just a little bit too much. Even that back out. And that should be good. Then we'll just put I'm going to fold them up on the sides. Gently tuck it in. And then just gently tuck your cotton down. You don't want to pack it. You want it to be kind of fluffy in there. So we have it just like that. And just make sure that your juice channels on each side are open. Now we can go ahead and juice this up. And I'll use a little bit of Ruthless Grape. Again, with the Kanger coils, make sure that you are pre-wetting your wicks before you actually fire the device. Now once I have it all primed, we can go ahead and put the top cap back on. We can fill up our tank. And the nice thing about the Kanger tank is you can just kind of pour your e-liquid in like this down the side. And you just want to make sure that when you do that, you don't fill it up past that center post. So it's going to look, you know, full when you do it this way, but then when you turn it around, it won't. And we can just thread this back on. Got a little bit of juice on my hands here. Put it on the device. New coil, and then we got 0.15 ohms. So let's go back up to FaceTime, juice it up, and finish this video up. So let's take a vape on it. Really, really good flavor, even with the RBA. Again, what I have in here now is the RBA that we rebuilt. I found the best thing is 6-7 wraps with a 30 gauge Ni200 wire. It works really well. It fits on that RBA well. Now that's with the airflow all the way open. Again, it's a 0.15 ohm coil. I have it at 440 degrees and 20 watts. Let's bump it up a little bit and see how we get when we get up to, say, 30 watts. Much warmer flavor. Still a lot of vapor, and I have no dry hits. And the key to this device with the RBA is definitely your wicking. Less is definitely more. Don't overstuff it with cotton, otherwise the juices are going to be able to flow up to those coils really well. So let's get into the pros and cons of this device. We'll start with the cons. My first con would be I wish that 510 connection was adjustable. It definitely works on all of my devices, but somebody else may have something where you don't have a good connection there. Another con would be the airflow control. I find the airflow control is just a little bit too tight. I wish it was a little bit looser, but that could also be a pro because it's not going to slip out of whatever setting you have it in. The only other one that I would find for a con would be I found it hard to take off the glass tank, but that's probably a good thing because it means my O-rings are nice and tight and I'm not going to have any leaking. As far as pros, I would say every other feature of this device is definitely a pro. It came very clean, no machine oil. It came with no scratches. I was able to rinse it once and get rid of it. The coil heads are nice. If you don't want to have to build any of your own coils, you can just go buy the OCC coils, whether you want to buy Canthal or the NI200 coils. They are a bit pricey at $4, but it's convenience. It just comes down to convenience of not having to bother with wrapping coils. I would say if I'm going to go on a trip or something like that, I'm just going to bring an extra 1 or 2 of those heads with me so I don't have to worry about bringing extra coils or anything like that. I love the fact that it's got a 510 removable drip tip. I could put any drip tip on here. I've got an old cheap plastic one here, and I get even better flavor because it's got a smaller diameter hole. Wow, 30 watts, it just kicks my ass. I vape anywhere between 15 and 20 watts when I'm using this device. I have found that using the nickel coils, I need to bump up my wattage a little bit to get to where the flavor and vapor that I want to have. So that is my video for today, guys. Hopefully it helps you out a little bit. Hopefully I helped you make a little bit more informed decision if you want to pick up the Subtank Mini and what you think of the nickel coils. Please do me a favor, hit the like button down on the bottom. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and until next time, happy vaping!